Good morning, Namo Phat. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The first mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I'm determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to condone any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. Our Dharma reading today is Developing Samanasanya by Lungpo Pasano, and this is from Beginning Our Day by the monastics of Abhayagiri Monastery. Yesterday, at the City of the Dharma realm in Sacramento, I was giving instructions to 28 novices who were preparing to ordain next month as bhikshunis, Buddhist nuns. It was quite a delightful time. Their sincerity was tangible. One of the ideas I brought up with them is developing samanasanya, the perception or recollection of being a religious seeker. We function out of our perceptions. We perceive something to be interesting or desirable, and we get excited. We perceive something to be worrisome or troublesome, and we start to have aversion or negativity. Perceptions are always informing how we relate to things. The Buddha encouraged us to develop the perception or recollection of being religious seekers. In that way, we can relate to the circumstances we find ourselves in and to the people we live with from a very different perspective. By perceiving ourselves to be religious seekers, those who are seeking peace, we encourage ourselves to always relate and act in the best possible manner. So how do we conduct ourselves? What do we do as seekers? How do we engage in our responsibilities and duties in order to maintain a quality of peace? How do we fulfill that aspiration? We do this by reminding ourselves and recollecting, yes, this is what I am. This is what I'm doing, and most valuable for me to be doing, seeking peace, seeking truth. As we take on duties or have contact and engagement with each other, we can relate to each other as fellow seekers of truth and peace, rather than as objects of aversion, attention, or interest, or just somebody else who can fulfill a function. There are times when we may think, there's the person who does the computer work, there's the person who is the kitchen manager, there's the person who does this or that. We might see that person only in a particular role or having a certain type of personality. This really limits us and limits everybody else as well. Instead, we can recollect ourselves as samanas and develop a perception of each other as fellow seekers of peace, fellow seekers of truth. This helps us support our own practice, our own daily living, in a way that is peaceful and encourages us to live skillful lives in the monastery. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for joining me today.